So Donald Trump wants to send out $2,000 checks to some people here in the United States. Obviously not everybody, he says. You know, those of you making more than $200,000 a year, you don't get any money, even though $200,000 a year today is damn sure not what $200,000 a year was just 5 years ago. But Trump wants to send these checks out. He's been teasing it for months and months and months. New York Times came out this week on Wednesday morning writing that he still wants to do it, but he actually has no plans on how to do it. And of course, though, Trump says the money would come from all the cash he's brought in, from the tariffs, which is ironic because we paid that. So what he's actually doing with these checks is saying, I'm going to give you a tiny amount of the money you've paid in inflation back to you. Because a $2,000 check does not even cover 3 months worth of the price increases that the average family is experiencing, because the average family is experiencing $700 in increased prices per month. So you get like 2 months and 3 weeks worth of your tariff money back. So you're still losing money, America. But there will be plenty of Americans who get this $2,000 check, and when they go to the polls next November, they'll remember, well, Trump gave me money, so I'm voting Republican. And they'll probably make that noise too. Listen out for that at the polls. That's how you recognize a Trump voter. So he wants to pay us all off before we go vote in November. Just like he did in 2020 with the COVID stimulus checks. Just like he did for the farmers in 2018 and again in 2020. Trump thinks that giving people money solves every single problem that they have in the world, even if it's a tiny amount of money, because $2,000 is not much money. It's not. Not today. But he thinks we should be grateful and we should grovel for it. And of course, that we should vote for him and Republicans in perpetuity because we got $2,000 one time, maybe. But the reality is far harsher for Americans, because economists are now warning that if these $2,000 checks come out, it is actually going to cause far more damage to the U.S. economy and actually drive inflation even higher. And the reason they're saying that is because it is a basic macroeconomic principle. For those of you who did not take macroeconomics in college, maybe even in high school, depending on where you lived, let me explain it. In the United States, right at this moment, prior to $2,000 checks getting out, Americans are spending less. When people as a whole spend less, the companies, the businesses that produce goods start producing less to match spending so that we do not end up with a surplus and businesses lose money. So as spending falls, supply falls to match it. Imagine, if you will, suddenly these people over here who had reduced their spending, overnight, they got $2,000. What do these folks do with it? They immediately go and spend it. Well, they're spending it on a reduced supply. Supply cannot catch up to this increased demand overnight. It takes months, sometimes years to do that. So, because there is limited supply, but more demand, prices go way up on everything to match the new demand. That is the basic, very simple economic principle that we are looking at. And you may be asking yourselves, but Farron, this didn't happen during COVID. First of all, yeah, it did when we got those stimulus checks. Yes, it did. Y'all not remember the inflation during COVID? Do you not remember the sudden supply chain shortages? Like, everybody gets stimulus checks, they immediately run out there and buy stuff, and then 2 weeks later, we're seeing all those images of stores with empty shelves. It did happen. So we know, not just from the basic economic principles, but also from recent history, that this happens. Now, for those of you old enough to remember the stimulus checks under George W. Bush, right? That was a different scenario. First and foremost, that was $300 a person. Okay? It's not thousands of dollars suddenly flooding the economy. It was a couple $100 so that you could kind of get right a little bit. If you needed to go buy, 2 new tires for your car, you could do that. You couldn't buy a full set, but you could get a couple, right? If you needed to go to the doctor, you could finally make that one doctor's visit. It was kind of like a one-time thing to get people over a hump and to avoid a worse recession during the Great Recession. Now, that didn't work. So, none of this let's give everybody money for no frickin' reason actually pans out. And I think that's because a lot of people don't know basic economics. Now, I did not major in economics. However, for a period of a couple years in college, I was an economics major. So this is a topic I'm very well versed in. Took many, many, many courses in it before eventually switching over to political science because that was my passion. But these are basic economic principles. Trump doesn't understand it. All he knows is that money is great. People love money. I'll give people money. They'll vote for us. He's not going to listen to the smart people, the economists, telling him that this will actually cause more damage. And yes, I do believe he will eventually do it. And at that point, the economy will get so much worse than it is right now. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.